Hi, I'm Esin, and I review stuff, and welcome to Metal Monday, where I talk about albums that I recommend you listen to so you can start your week off right. This week, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently, as I'm going to be venturing out into the world of Grindcore. And as per the genre's characteristics, Grindcore records tend to be really short, which means that by the time I get done with a usual full-length review, you would have spent the time you could have spent listening to the album, listening to me talk about the album, which renders it pretty much pointless. The album I have chosen for today is the debut full-length, and by full-length I mean of course full-length by Grindcore standards, of a San Jose two-piece backed by a drum machine. It is Skullsmasher's Rocket Hammer Brain Surgery, which is a really apt title because listening to this album feels like how it would feel to get brained by a hammer enhanced by rockets. Skullsmasher are purveyors of grindcore, which means they are purveyors of the deformed bastard child of hardcore punk and death metal, and what they bring to the table on Rocket Hammer Brain Surgery is nothing less than extremely fast, really vicious, and really brief bursts of oral violence and mayhem. What's waiting for you in the cigarette break length of an album is basically hardcore punk death metal hybrid riffs thrown into your ear, backed up by really sharp, really mean bass, vicious, clenched teeth, guttural, screaming vocals, and a drum machine with the best snare tone that I have heard this side of Insect Warfare. Like, seriously, the snare tone is fucking divine. Although the duo claims to have used a Chinese guy for the drums, it is known that they have been using a drum machine, but the drum machine has been programmed to be so lifelike that you're not going to be feeling the absence of a live drummer at all, and it does its job perfectly. All these elements come together in the usual breakneck speed, highly aggressive package, and it is cut after cut after cut after cut of feeling like you just got hammered in the genitals again and again and again until you're a miserable, blubbering pile on the floor and begging for some more, like some masochistic BDSM version of Oliver Twist. Please, can I have some more? While the main aim of Skullsmasher seems to be to pound you to paste with one grind cut after another, there is a section in Rocket Hammer Brain Surgery where they sort of take a detour through crossover thrash adjacent lands. The tracks Parasitic Apathy, Nasogastric Gavage, and Aggressive Vehicular Intimidation are basically crossover thrash stumbles that have been hybridized with grindcore. Given that crossover thrash is actually the short form, more aggressive version of thrash, and grindcore is basically short and aggressive to begin with, you can probably imagine the results. Given how skillfully that the band managed to incorporate the thrash influences into their grindcore fundamental elements, I would have loved it if the thrash influences were spread out more evenly throughout this album, or made more appearances apart from these three tracks. Furthermore, the songs and riffs have been put together with more subtlety than a bull in a china shop, as these albums usually go, which means that the album manages to stand a cut above all the rest by the virtue of its songwriting alone. Now, with me so far, you freaks? Good. Now, recommending grindcore albums is actually a bit of a gamble because this genre doesn't really rub everyone the right way, and while it tickles my fancy a lot, especially when done well, because I love it when it is done well, it might not strike your fancy quite as much, so I'm going to be ending it with a little note. If you like hardcore punk, if you like really aggressive music, if you like really aggressive and fast music, if you think that your beatdown hardcore or your modern hardcore with lots of breakdowns could have been faster, then this album is definitely for you. If you're a death metal fan that really likes a lack of subtlety in the albums that you listen to and think that 50-minute slab of death metal could have been a little bit shorter, then Rocket Hammer Brain Surgery is definitely an album to check out. For those of you out there who are wondering what grindcore is about but don't really want to go all the way back to the classic, I think Rocket Hammer Brain Surgery can also function as a gateway album, although in that regard I would definitely be recommending Wormrot's Abuse a lot more than this one, just because. There's a Bandcamp link in the description down below, so why don't you click that, go listen to it, and come back and tell me what you think. And if you're already a fan of this album, or if you have just listened to it, please let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like the content that I'm bringing to you, please like, comment, and subscribe, as it helps a lot. But until next time, hope you have a great week. It's Esin. Peace out, motherfuckers.